In Lesson 2, we will introduce HTML, the markup language behind virtually every page of the World Wide Web. A basic knowledge of HTML will give you an excellent foundation for the AJAX applications that will be discussed in later lessons. The topics we will cover in Lesson 2 are introducing HTML, elements of an HTML page, a more advanced HTML page, defining the rules, add a little class, applying styles, formatting text with styles, and adding lines. We do not want to overwhelm you with an exhaustive account of HTML or really any of the other component technologies of AJAX. Instead, we'll just give you a short review of the fundamental principles and some code examples to illustrate them, paying special attention to the subjects that will become relevant when we start to develop AJAX applications. The World Wide Web is constructed from many millions of individual pages which are most commonly written in hypertext markup language, better known as HTML. The name hypertext markup language actually does give away a lot of information about its nature. We use it to mark up our text documents so that web browsers know how to display them and to define hypertext links within them to provide navigation within or between them. Anyone who might remember the old pre-WYSIWYG word processing programs will already be familiar with text markup. Most of these old applications required that special characters be placed at the beginning and end of sections of text that you wanted to be displayed, maybe as bold, italic, or underlined text, for example. Because the elements used in HTML markup use only ordinary keyboard characters, all you really need is a good text editor to construct HTML pages. Many are available, and most operating systems have at least one program already installed. If you're using some version of Windows, for example, the built-in Notepad application will work just fine. Let's go ahead and jump right in and look at how to create a simple HTML document. Open your chosen editor and enter the text shown here. The HTML markup elements, often referred to as tags, are the character strings enclosed by the less than symbol and the greater than symbol. Now save the document somewhere on your computer, giving it the name testpage.html. If you now load that page into your favorite browsers, such as Internet Explorer or Firefox, you should see something like the window displayed in here. The first element on the page is known as the doctype element. Its purpose is to notify the browser of the flavor of HTML used in the document. The doctype element used throughout this book refers to HTML 4.0 Transitional, a fairly forgiving version of the HTML specification that allows the use of some earlier markup styles and structures in addition to the latest HTML 4.0 specifications. The doctype element must always occur right at the beginning of the HTML document. Next, notice that the remainder of the document is enclosed by the Open HTML tag at the start of the page and Close HTML tag at the end. These tags notify the browser that what lies between should be interpreted and displayed as an HTML document. The document within these outer tags is split into two further sections. The first is enclosed in Open Head tag and Close Head tag, and the second is contained between the Open Body tag and Close Body tag. Essentially, the document's head section is used to store information about the document that is not to be displayed in the browser window, whereas the body of the document contains text to be interpreted and displayed to the user via the browser window. We can see that the head section of our simple HTML document contains only one line, the words "a simple HTML document," enclosed in the Open Title tag and Close Title tag. Remember that the head section contains information that is not to be displayed in the browser window. This is not, then, the title displayed at the top of our page text. Neither does the document title refer to the file name of the document, which in this case is testpage.html. In fact, the document title fulfills a number of functions. Among them, search engines often use the page title, among other factors, to help them decide what a page is about. When you bookmark a page, it is generally saved by default as. Most browsers, when minimized, display the title of the current document on their icon or taskbar button. It's important, therefore, to choose a meaningful and descriptive title for each page that you create. Many other element types are used in the head section of a document, including link, meta, and script elements. Although we don't give an account of them here, they are described throughout the book as they occur. We can clearly see that the content of the document's body section is made up of the text we want to display on the page, plus some tags that help us to define how that text should look. To define that certain words should appear in bold type, for example, we enclose those words in these tags. Similarly, to convert certain words into an italic typeface, we can use these tags. The heading My HTML page is enclosed between Open H1 and Close H1 tags. These indicate that we intend the enclosed text to be a heading. HTML allows for 6 levels of headings from H1, the most prominent, to H6. You can use any of the intermediate values H2, H3, H4, and H5 to display pages having various levels of subtitles, for instance corresponding to chapter, section, and paragraph headings. Anything displayed within header tags is displayed on a line by itself. All the tags discussed so far have been containers. That is, they consist of opening and closing tags between which you place the text that you want these tags to act upon. Some elements, however, are not containers but can be used alone. This example shows one such element, the BR tag, which signifies a line break. Another example is HR, a horizontal line. Occasionally, there is a need to specify exactly how a markup tag should behave. In such cases, you can add parameter and value pairs, known as attributes, to change the behavior of the element. In this example, the behavior of the body tag has been modified by adjusting its BG color or background color property to a light gray. This shows the effect this has if applied to our file testpage.html. Images can be inserted in our page by means of the IMG tag. In this case, we specify the source file of the image as a parameter by using the src attribute. Other aspects of the image display that we can alter this way include the borders, width, and the height of the image. Border width, and image height are in numbers of pixels, the dots formed by individual picture elements on the screen. Often you want to display information in tabular format, and HTML has a set of elements designed specifically for this purpose. The open table and closed table tags contain a nested hierarchy of other tags, including open TR and closed TR, which define individual table rows, open TH and closed TH, which indicate cells in the table's header, and open TD and closed TD, which contain individual cells of table data. Hypertext links or hyperlinks are fundamental to the operation of HTML. By clicking on a hyperlink, you can navigate to a new location, be that to another point on the current page or to some point on a different page on another website entirely. Links are contained within an anchor tag, a container tag that encloses the content that will become the link. The destination of the link is passed to this tag as a parameter href. Clicking on the words My Hyperlink will result in the browser requesting the page newpage.html. Let's revisit our testpage.html and add some extra elements. This shows Seville.html, developed from our original HTML page but with different content in the body section of the document. This shows how the page looks when displayed, this time in Mozilla Firefox. Now we have applied a background tint to the body area of the document. The content of the body area has been centered on the page, and that content now includes an image, which we've given a 2-pixel wide border, a heading and a subheading, a simple table, and some text. Let's take a closer look at some of the code. First, we use the BG color property of the body tag to provide the overall background tint for the page. Everything in the body area is contained between the open center tag and its partner close center tag immediately before the closing body tag. This ensures that all of our content is centered on the page. The main heading is enclosed in H1 tags as previously, but is now followed by a subheading using H3 tags to provide a slightly smaller font size. By using the border property in our opening table tag, we set a border width of 2 pixels for the table. Meanwhile, we darken the background of the table's header cells slightly by using the BG color property of the TH elements. As you've already learned, HTML was written as a markup language for defining the structure of a document, paragraphs, headings, tables, and so on. Although it was never intended to become a desktop publishing tool, it does include some basic formatting attributes, such as font size, align, and the aforementioned BG color. In 1996, the WC3 first recommended the idea of cascading style sheets, or CSS, to format HTML documents. The recommendation, which was updated in mid-1998, enables web developers to separate the structure and format of their documents. The CSS recommendation describes the following three types of style sheets. Embedded. The style properties are included within the style tags at the top of the HTML document. A style assigned to a particular tag applies to all those tags in this type of document. In this book, you'll see embedded style sheets most often. Inline. The style properties are included throughout the HTML page. Each HTML tag receives its own style attributes as they occur in the page. Linked. The style properties are stored in a separate file. That file can be linked to any HTML documents using a link tag placed within the head tags. Style sheet rules are made up of selectors, the HTML tags that receive the style, and declarations, the style sheet properties and their values. In the following example, the selector is the body tag, and the declaration is made up of the style property background and its value black. This example sets the background color for the entire document to black. You can see that in a style sheet, the HTML tag is not surrounded by brackets as it would be in the HTML document, and the declaration is surrounded by curly braces. Declarations can contain more than one property. The following example also sets the text color for this page to white. Notice that the two properties are separated by a semicolon. If you want to apply the same rules to several HTML tags, you could group those rules together as in the following example. As the old saying goes, rules are made to be broken. What if you don't want every single H1 heading in your document to be white on a black background? Maybe you want every other H1 heading to be yellow on a white background. Let me introduce you to the class attribute. You can apply this attribute to almost every HTML tag, and it's almost like creating your own tags. This shows a fairly standard HTML page that uses an aqua table at the top of the page to hold the navigation links and places other tabular content in yellow tables throughout the document. You can see the HTML document for that page in here. Take a closer look at the style properties. This document defines two table styles within the style tags. The HTML tag name table is followed by a period and the class names nav and rest. When the table is referenced in the body of the document, you must apply the class attribute to tell the browser which style properties should be applied. The HTML markup for each table in this example appears in the following HTML code. You can see that the class name appears within quotations, just like the other HTML attributes, and as with the width attribute shown here. Before moving on, we'll quickly cover how to apply style properties to your documents. Remember, you have three methods to add style sheets: embedded, linked, and inline. We'll discuss each one in turn. All the styles are defined at the top of the HTML document within the head tags because they contain information about the entire document. The styles defined here apply only to the one document in which they appear. If you plan to use these same styles in another document, you need to add them there as well. Linked style sheets hold all the style properties in a separate file. You then link the file into each HTML document where you want those style properties to appear. With this method, I've created a separate file called mystyles.css that contains all my style properties. You can see that the same type equals text/CSS attribute shows up here. Following are the entire contents of the mystyles.css file. These are the same styles that showed up in the preceding embedded styles example, but now they appear in a separate text file. With inline styles, the style properties are added to the HTML tag as the tag is entered. This means that if I want the same style to appear in all the H1 tags in my document, I would have to type all those styles in all the H1 tags. Look at the following example. I'm still using the same style properties as in the previous examples, but now you can see how the two tables would be created using inline styles. Using inline styles, the style tag becomes the style attribute. Multiple style properties are still separated by semicolons, but the entire group of properties for each tag is grouped within each HTML tag. This type of style sheet is fine for documents in which you need to apply styles to only one or two elements, but you wouldn't want to do all that work when you have a lot of styles to add. Web browsers give precedence to the style that appears closest to the tag, so inline styles, which appear as attributes within the tag itself, are the most important. Embedded styles, which appear at the top of the HTML file, are applied next, and link styles, which appear in another file altogether, are applied last. Imagine that you have created an embedded style for the H1 tag, but want to change that style for one occurrence of the H1 tag in that document. You would create an inline style for that new H1 tag. The browsers recognize that fact and change the style for that tag to reflect the inline style. Text is the most important element of any web page. Without text, there is nothing on the page to help people decide whether it's worth coming back. Text on an HTML page is structured by the body, paragraph, TD, TR, TH, H1 through H6, and list tags, among others. You can add your own style preferences to each of these tags using the style properties shown here. In the following example, we've added some embedded style elements that set the font, font size, and font color for the body text of a basic HTML page. You can see how these styles change the appearance of the document in the browser. Microsoft maintains a brief tutorial for style sheets on its typography site. The tutorial teaches web page authors how style sheets can enhance their documents. The style tag for one of those examples is shown in the following code. This is impressive because of the many different styles and classes defined in this document. You can see that you are only limited by your own imagination. You can see the page this style code created. You have probably seen those bright blue underlined hyperlinks on the web. Style sheets have the following selectors to help you change the look of them. Anchor link sets the styles for unvisited links. Anchor visited sets the styles for visited links. Anchor active sets the styles for the link while it is linking. And anchor hover sets the style for the link while your mouse is hovering. As you can see, you can apply color to your HTML tags in two different ways, with color or with background. A horizontal line, or horizontal rule as it is named in HTML, is one of the easiest tags to use. You can insert the HR tag anywhere in your document to insert a horizontal line that extends across the space available. Take a look at the following sample HTML. It shows 3 HR tags, 2 used as a section break between text and the other used inside a table cell. This shows how they appear in the browser. Style sheets give you another important advantage. You can specify the margins of almost any HTML element. The margins can be defined in point, inch, centimeter, or pixel sizes. You can set the margin left, margin right, and margin top properties individually or combine them into one property called margin that applies the sizes to the top, right, and left margins. This chapter discussed the basics of web page layout using hypertext markup language, including the structure of HTML documents, examples of HTML page elements, and page styling using both element attributes and cascading style sheets. You can now test your knowledge in the quiz area, access the scripts we learned in the lab, or go through the lesson again. The choice is yours. Thank you for choosing Sam's Teach Yourself.